G'day everybody, welcome back to another episode of Crafted by Tim. Today I've got an awesome project for you guys. We're going to be making a Last of Us Firefly pendant out of Damascus steel. So these are the three metals that we're going to be working with. The first one is 15N20. 15N20 is a steel with a little bit of nickel in it. This is going to create our high spots. The high spots are the parts that you can polish and thus they become brighter. Up next we have some 1084 steel. 1084 is a very common ingredient to Damascus due to it being able to be hardened. And being able to harden Damascus not only makes the Damascus stronger, but it also allows you to get a much better contrast, or so I'm led to believe. The third steel that we're going to be using is mild steel. Mild steel is significantly cheaper, so I like to use it as a bit of a filler material. So we have our three different types of steel. I'm going to stack these up. We're going to grind them first, then clean them down with some acetone, but first I'll try and figure out what layering I want to do. Okay, so we have our layering. So we have 15N20, some 1084 simple carbon steel, some more 15N20, some more mild steel, and then we basically just repeat that 3 times until we have one piece of mild steel on the very top. So now that we have the layer count, we need to disrupt that pattern. For that, I'm going to be using a ball peen hammer. The way that this works is that when you hit the layers, you are basically squishing all of the layers that are already there into a smaller amount, like to a smaller area. So you're condensing the layer count. So the areas that we hit will have a high density of layers, and the areas that we don't hit will have a low density of layers. That's about as much sense as it's going to make. The area that we're not going to hit, we're going to grind it off so it's all level, but you'll be able to see those different layers actually show up, hopefully. That's the general consensus, that's the general idea of how this is meant to work, I think. Not sure, but we got to bring it out. I've got to do a little bit more shaping, but we're almost there. Okay, so now that we have our pattern, hopefully, in the steel, we're going to let that cool. We're going to give it, actually I'll probably end up giving it about 3 hours to cool down. My forge generally takes about 3 hours to cool down, at least cool enough so I can touch it. That will be 7... Really? Wow, that was so fast. That's awesome. So here I just sort of rubbed over. Can that talk? There we go. Haha! I love this camera. So here I just rubbed some of this engineer's chalk, just straight over the top of the area that I hammered. And as you can see, the areas that are white are obviously the high spots. So you can really easily see what we've actually accomplished by doing that hammering texture. We've got quite a few low spots, we got quite a bit of high spots, so now we got to grind this. Okay, so we have our Last of Us pendant almost done. All we have to do now is etch it. I'm going to use some regular engine degreaser, and then after I spray this, I'm not going to touch it with my hands, because my hands have natural oils that will affect the etch. Okay, so this is the ferric chloride that I'm using. It's basically 50-50 ferric chloride and distilled water, and it has to be kind of warm to work. So I've just warmed up the piece and whatever remnant heat was left inside the forge. You don't need it to be too hot. If it's too hot, then you can evaporate the ferric chloride. That's really bad for you to breathe in, and it also gets on your skin and stuff like that. It does stain your skin, and it can eat through your skin as well if you're not careful. Well, that was awesome. That was a lot of fun. Now, as you saw, I did end up polishing it, but I actually kind of prefer like the darkened look. It actually looks really, really cool. I'm so happy that this worked out really well. And this video has been an absolute blast to make. Making Damascus isn't easy, but this is definitely one of the easier ways to make Damascus. And I'll leave a link in the description to the guy who I stole the idea from. I believe his plug is like Stackhouse Knives, but I'll leave a link in the description to that video. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video as much as I did. Consider liking this video if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing if you're new. I've got some cool things in the pipelines, and I hope they'll be coming out soon. But in the meantime, remember to stay safe, happy crafting, and as always, cheers.